way.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And you're tuned in to PTV World, watching your favorite show. Whether you're lazing around in your morning or you have had your morning coffee and your breakfast and you're about to get into some news, entertainment, sports, drama, a lot of chit chat, and me poking my co-anchor over here. But I, Muzzamil Khan, am here for today's show, filling this seat in Shahzad Bhai's place. He's going to be back. Until then, you would have to bardasht my presence over here. And Eesha, Rehan, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum assalam, Muzzamil. And no, we're not bardashting your presence. We actually love your authentic and charismatic presence. It always brings a very lively touch to the show.
Likewise.
And you know, we woke up in a very lively and pleasant Islamabad today. The sun was shining, the rays of sunshine were pouring down upon us.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, definitely. However, some parts of Pakistan are devastatingly engulfed in floods. And let's talk about the news regarding that. So Punjab is facing an unprecedented flood emergency due to a combination of heavy rains and India's decision to release water from at least 2 dams. Authorities in Punjab have evacuated thousands of people from affected areas. The Punjab government has called in the army to 8 districts to assist civil authorities in rescuing and relief operations.
Yeah, well, and when we're talking about rains, this year round, rains are breaking records and wreaking havoc. And let's shed a little bit of light upon what India is actually doing. When water is needed, they decide to go up against the treaty that they themselves signed. And when it is not needed, they try their best to ruin our crops and agriculture and participate in ruining the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands of people, which is immoral by international standards and humanitarian standards as well. Now, record-breaking rains, torrential rains in Sialkot have broken 49 years of a record. That is a long time, submerging large parts of the city, leaving residents stranded. According to Pakistan Meteorological Department, 363.5 millimeters of rainfall was recorded, and that too within just 24 hours. And this is the biggest downpour since 1976.
Definitely, definitely. And we can see the mass evacuations taking place just because India is using water as a tool of aggression against Pakistan, and it's horrible to witness, right? But however, you know, it's great to see our government as always taking great initiatives to protect the civilians of Pakistan. Definitely,
and the Jawans. Also, dike near Mandi Baudin has been breached, and this is big because Mandi Baudin is a thickly populated area, and Mandi Baudin also participates in one of the largest agricultural activities of Pakistan. And the dike near Mandi Baudin that has been breached to protect head Qadirabad residents along with the Chenab River from Qadirabad to Pindi Bhatiya, and advised to evacuate immediately. Sometimes we need to take drastic steps to mitigate drastic situations, you know, like they say that when the situation is big, so have the steps, you know, you need to take bigger steps to mitigate all of those situations. So this was breached in order to keep some areas safe. Some areas have been submerged, but you have to allow the water that's coming in to flow out away.
Definitely. And you know, a huge round of applause goes to our government and our most honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Shehbaz Sharif, who has directed authorities to take immediate and comprehensive measures to address potential urban flooding in Gujarat, Sialkot and Lahore. The Prime Minister emphasized that the supply of essential items must continue without interruption. He stressed that the need to ensure an uninterrupted power supply, restore communication channels and repair damaged roads in flood-hit areas. I think these are all great initiatives to take place, especially for the people who are facing such an emotional toll, right? Leaving behind their families, their houses, their agriculture lands. Imagine seeing a farmer, imagine witnessing a farmer seeing his land flood away by water, right?
Land, their houses, everything, you know. Floods are something that, you know, let's start off by educating the people who, because we don't usually see floods here in Pakistan all that often, but every 2, 3 years, 4 years, we do get big floods over here. The Darya, which overflows, has a flood pan basically that spans on both sides of your river, of your tributary, and spans a large distance. Stay away from the river banks by miles. Stay away and you'll be safe. Also, if you have people living around the river banks who are not aware of the situation that's about to come and you're watching this show, call them up and tell them to find higher and safer ground. Now, a little bit of detail about the PMD. PMD has directed all relevant authorities to remain on high alert and take all necessary precautions and measures to stay safe and stay out of harm's way. Also, Pakistan Army and the Jawans are down on the ground doing what they do best, that is protect civilian lives. Public travelers and tourists have been advised to avoid unnecessary exposure to vulnerable areas in order to minimize the risks. This is something very important, like we just talked about.
And not just this, nearly 200,000 people have been evacuated so far to safer areas from flood-prone areas, and the Pakistan Army has been engaged in dealing with flood situations in the 6 districts of Punjab. Meanwhile, several areas including Kushar and Ganda Singh Wala along with the Sutlej River has been inaugurated to give the
All right, so now to talk about this, we are joined by our wonderful correspondent. This man has all the details about everything, and he is our main line about these details. Ali Zamran Danish. Assalamu alaikum, Ali. And it's always lovely to have you on the news, but this time around it's the morning show. We need details about what is happening on ground, what is expected in the next coming days, and how are the damages being mitigated.
Yes, well, currently, right now, near Lahore, Shadra, the water level continues to rise at Ravi River. It is at 164,000 cusecs. It was around 150,000 cusecs yesterday. Now, Shadra, this area, it has a maximum capacity for 250,000 cusecs. So the water level is rising here at Shadra area, Ravi. The Ravi River continues to rise. And at Kadrabad, the situation is quite severe. It's 901.5 thousand cusecs. So very high water level, extremely high there. And, that has caused a lot of concern. A lot of people in Hafsabad, Chinod, who are close to Kadrabad headworks, are very concerned about this. Yesterday, they carried out a controlled explosion to divert the water from Kadrabad headworks to protect the headworks, as it was an embankment protecting the cities of Hafsabad and Chinod. So, but it is said that the situation in Kadrabad will improve, hopefully, because the water level seems to be decreasing. In Jasser, the water levels are 128,000 cusecs, and at Balloki, it's 89,000. It is slightly rising. But the main concern is Kadrabad and Ravi River, and these the water flood levels continue to rise here. And, this is a serious situation. This is a combination of rains and, heavy torrential rains, and India suddenly releasing 200,000 cusecs in Ravi and 100,000 cusecs, more than 100,000 cusecs in Chenab suddenly, which caused a rapid rise in flood levels in Punjab, eastern Punjab. And, NDMA has evacuated more than 210,000 people. Chief Minister Punjab, Mariam Nawaz Sharif, is very closely monitoring the situation. There is a grand rescue relief operation which has been launched in eastern Punjab to evacuate, relocate tens of thousands of people. 263 relief camps and 161 medical camps have been established where food, water, medical support is being provided. And, these operations continue at Kasur, Nankana, Syed, Chinod, Palko, Nagan, Wazirabad. And, a total of, in recent days, a total of 61,126 people in 769 villages of Punjab have been affected by these flood waters. And, the Pakistan Army, PDMA, Rescue 1122, district authorities are working together, coordinating their efforts to help the people. And as I mentioned, more than 210,000 people have been evacuated, their livestock, their belongings have been taken, and these flood-prone areas, these riverbank areas have been evacuated. And, the situation is good right now, all eyes on Kadrabad headworks and Shadra, yes.
All right. Ali, thank you for highlighting all those essential details regarding the weather patterns and the affected areas. Can you please highlight what the situation in Sialkot is like, and what are the sentiments of people who have been massively evacuated from their homes?
Because you also mentioned Chinyot, and Chinyot is big on furniture. We've got a lot of industry in town, and Sialkot is big on industry itself, sports, medical equipment and everything. So how far has water made it into the areas of these towns?
Well, the damage assessment hasn't completely officially taken place yet. It will take time because rescue services, especially the Punjab Rangers and Pakistan Army, PDMA, Rescue 1122, they're still, clearing out the water in certain areas. As you mentioned, there was a record rain here, 64 years. Record was broken in Sialkot, and the damage is expected to be quite significant, like there was in Karachi because of the heavy rains, but Sialkot, it seems, suffered a bit worse, depending on its infrastructure. But yes, it's a major industrial area of Pakistan, and senior ministers, federal ministers have visited there, and they are closely monitoring the situation. The Prime Minister has told federal minister, provincial ministers to personally oversee rescue relief operations. And, once the Sialkot's all areas are cleared out, then they will carry out a damage assessment. And, same as other cities. But right now, rescue relief operations are taking place. And, of course, this has affected a lot of people's livelihoods. And, of course, where they live, tens of thousands of people had to leave their homes, move from their living areas just to protect themselves. And, it is not clear how many of their properties are still standing. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Ali Zamran, for taking out time and not just informing us, but our audiences about the current situation so they can reach to the safety measures adhered to by definitely the rescue sites provided by the government of Pakistan. And we hope and pray for all the people in Sialkot, in Sindh, and all over Punjab that their livestock and their agriculture does not get affected.
Field Marshal, Chief of Army Staff, General Syed Asim Munir. Now, for the people that are watching this show, a Field Marshal is a person who has fought on multiple fronts, led the war successfully, and has come out victorious. And usually it requires two fronts, but Field Marshal, Chief of Army Staff, General Syed Asim Munir, under his leadership, not only are eastern and western, northern and southern borders secure, but Pakistan, as it faces floods, he's actively involved and he's dealing with all the departments, giving down instructions. The departments are working hand in hand. Do not be shy to speak up in favor of your people, of the people who are serving you. These are the people that you need to be grateful towards. Pakistan Army is doing a great deal of effort in protecting the lives and livelihoods of people. And shukr alhamdulillah that we've got strong departments, because the amount of water that is flowing from north down south to Pakistan is something that would have wreaked havoc that we would have never ever even imagined of. And we are facing the trouble, but not as much, because these Jawans and all of our departments are working hand in hand.
Definitely. Thank you so much for highlighting that, Muzzamil. And our Field Marshal is definitely acting like the brave, heroic leader of Pakistan towards its protection. And we definitely applaud him for his efforts, as it should be recognized. And however, the floods are wreaking havoc in Pakistan because of India using water as a tool of aggression. However, the skies over India are not so bright and sunny. They're pretty darkened as well. Because Trump has taken the initiative, and the steep 50% tariffs on India imports have come to effect by Trump's orders, prompting extremist Hindu supporters of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to exploit rising anti-Semitics across the country. This move places India as one of the United States, this move places India one of the United States' strongest partners in the Indo-Pacific, among the nations now paying some of the highest tariffs in the world. The increased tariffs could deal a serious blow to exports and economic growth in the world's fifth largest economy.
Well, they used to flaunt a lot about their relationship with the United States of America, but as we know, they used to flaunt their relationship with Canada as well. And under Modi's rule, extrajudicial killings happened on the Canadian soil, because when you shake hands with somebody who the Britishers named the butcher of Gujarat, that is a mindset that you cannot trust. You shake hands with them, they'll probably stick a dagger in your back. So being aware regarding their mentality is something that is very important. That is why the steep 50% tariffs. Now, international news. According to foreign media, South Korean parliament has passed a new law under which the use of mobile phones and other digital devices inside of the classrooms has been banned in all schools across the country.
Oh my
the
gosh.
funny part is, we as students here in Pakistan were never allowed to begin with. We weren't allowed to use our phones.
Exactly.
Our teachers would take it away.
I don't know what privilege the South Korean students were availing. However, in Pakistan, even till A levels, right, you still are allowed to bring your phone in school. However, you're not allowed to use it in the classroom. So I think maybe South Korea is being progressive and learning from Pakistani standards. However, you know, when we are speaking about education, what is the best way to learn, right? The best way to learn,
right?
exactly, practice, and especially to connect with each other in your mother tongue and your mother language, which is why I think Urdu is an essential element to all Pakistanis' lives, right? And even for foreign people to connect with Pakistanis, in order to connect with the people of a different country, you need to have the same language to bond over, right? And if Urdu is not just our identity, it creates a sense of belonging. Joining us today is the founder of Alif Se Urdu. She has been teaching Urdu to kids and adults worldwide in more than 15 different countries. She is Zara Saleem, the founder of Alif Se Urdu. Assalamu alaikum, Zara. How are you feeling today? And
Welcome.
Good morning.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a great pleasure to be here, and I hope you both are doing well as well.
Before we get into a conversation regarding what's the best way to learn and how can we practice and everything, what is your favorite sher in Urdu? Because Urdu is a beautiful language, and every time I come across someone who is teaching or learning or, you know, has a link with Urdu language, there is one point that comes to my mind, that's poetry. What's your favorite or your favorite poet in Urdu?
Acha, let me tell you one thing about my journey as Alif Se Urdu. First is that I'm not into शेर and शायरी at all. मैं बिल्कुल भी ना शेर and शायरी पढ़ती हूँ और ना मैं उसमें इतना इंटरेस्ट लेती हूँ. So what Alif Se Urdu is basically is, और ना मेरे बाहर के जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं और जो मेरे एक्सपैट्स हैं वो इतनी डीप उर्दू की तरफ जाते हैं, because for this what my motto with Alif Se Urdu is that I really want them to understand this language and at least have basic conversation and not let this language die in their families. So basically what happens is when people, you know, they move to another country and wahan par their primary language becomes English. So what happens is that eventually, when if they stop, their future generations will eventually stop speaking Urdu. So that is what not I want. I want them to keep their language alive, even living in another country. So
You know,
that is what Alif Se Urdu is. I'm so sorry.
that's such a wonderful and beautiful initiative that you have taken, and teaching people the mother tongue is definitely something that we applaud you for. However, can you please highlight what are the first few essential phrases that each Pakistani expat should learn to communicate properly in Pakistan?
So we always start with very basics, like for example, salam, walaikum assalam. Even though that's not Urdu, that's Arabic, but you know that is how you start your conversations, and then um, uh, you move on to आप कैसी हैं, मैं ठीक हूँ. Then you tell them that is how you basically warm up to locals. They being your family members, they being people of Pakistan. That is how. So even when my kids who are not able to understand Urdu, they can have this 5 minutes conversation at the beginning of every class. You know, they know how to answer Ms. Zara about telling me about their day, telling me about their weekend. So that is how our conversation starters are always are. Telling me that how their day was, आप कैसी हैं, आपका दिन कैसा था, आपका weekend कैसा था. So that is what the starters usually are.
Zara, do you think that parting ways with the language also makes way for parting with the culture that it belongs to?
Definitely, definitely. Urdu language is the most important part of, you know, the Pakistani culture. So if their child visits Pakistan or if any foreigner visits Pakistan, they're not able to connect with the locals. You know, half of their, so they are basically, वो कहते हैं ना, 1.5 इंच की मस्जिद बन जाती है. You stay in your own comfort zone. आप अपनी फैमिली से बात करोगे, अपने कजिन से, because पाकिस्तान में now English is also a very common language. हर बच्चा बहुत easily, बहुत fluently बोल सकता है. मगर अगर आपको यहाँ के लोकल से कनेक्ट करना है तो, और आपको यहाँ के कल्चर को से बात करना है, so you can't go around and, you know, talk to a vendor, a street hawker, your चौकीदार, maybe your house help. तो आपको half of the चीज आपके लिए खत्म हो जाएगी. You won't be able to connect with that.
All right, and Zara, as an Urdu teacher, can you please highlight, since you have been teaching for such a long time, can you please highlight the most common mistakes that foreigners or maybe kids make while they learn Urdu in the initial stages?
Acha, so as you all know, and maybe because have been speaking this language since we were born, हम लोग इतना गौर नहीं करते. But Urdu में things have gender. ठीक है? So we have a book, we have a किताब. तो किताब नई किताब है, नया किताब नहीं है. So किताब has a gender which is female. ठीक है? अब now how do you think you got to know about that kitab is a female or a male? It just came to us very naturally, right? So that is exactly what happens. Whatever we know, हमें बस पता होता है. तो that is what the common mistake that any child or any foreigner does. कि वो जो है वो gender का बहुत issue आता है. Then there is pronunciation problem. Like for example, if they have to say घर, a foreigner is never able to speak the g. Then they are not able to take out the g sound. So that is the most common and sometimes funny mistake that they make.
Well, what have you found? Is it harder for them to learn to speak Urdu or to write Urdu?
Ah, what is the difference between
Acha,
writing Urdu and speaking Urdu?
so the first step that tell all of my parents that they should be doing living a life abroad is that they should be working on their conversation first. So if you're able to understand, or understanding is the most crucial part of it. So if you're able to understand the language, half of your battles are won. You're able to speak it like you'll learn it very quickly. So similarly, if you're able to understand and speak the language, after that reading and writing becomes easier. And trust me, reading and writing Urdu is far more easier than it is in English, because English may letters have different sounds, they have different rules. Urdu is very straightforward. That is what I tell to all of my students. Do not write fancy phrases, and every day English में addition होती रहती है, उर्दू में नहीं होती. Straightforward, बात खत्म.
All right, thank you so much, Zara, for explaining that in detail. And last night I was going through your page, and what especially connected with me is that you're not just teaching people how to speak Urdu, but also the ethics of Urdu, right? So the animation on your page that said, oh, which phrase do you most frequently use? Is it ha or ji? And that really connected with me since I have been a child. My grandmother has been telling me, don't say ha, that's so rude. Say ji, say ji. And that really connected with me.
I'm sorry, Eesha. I want to just add a few things here. Whenever I teach my students, I always tell them that or foreigners. That is what I have this conversation. That I'm not going to teach you the informal way of talking. There is no tum in my class. There's always going to be an aap in my class, and that is how our conversation is going to be flowing formally.
Definitely. That was explained in such a beautiful way. So just to wrap this up, can you please tell us how speaking in Urdu helps people connect with the culture in a deep way?
So basically, as I said, that I had a lot of foreigners. So basically, either their spouses are from Pakistan, or their partners are from Pakistan, or they're setting a business in Pakistan. Yes, I do have students, foreigner students. One of them wanted to actually settle a business, a tour and travel company from London. He was basically from a Britisher, and he wanted to settle a company here in Pakistan and bring all of his foreigner friends to travel to Skardu, Hunza, Gilgit-Baltistan, all over. So he was learning this language. So basically, he wanted to connect better with the Pakistani people. He wanted to talk to all the random people he gets to see on the roads.
Wow,
And
it's
then there is
great to
another who has
see.
a business.
Huh. How wonderful. I think it's great to see how when foreigners want to come to Pakistan, they take the initiative to learn the language, to connect with the culture, and you are playing such a vital role in helping bridge this gap. Thank you so much, Zara, for taking out time and giving us a debrief of how Urdu plays a vital role, not just in Pakistan, but for foreigners as well. And it's especially important for children to learn Urdu, to connect with their mother tongue, to connect with their culture, and it's people like you who are making this difference.
All right, I have some interesting news regarding things that scare people. One of them is sharks, the other is crocodile. Don't those creatures fascinate you?
They do. They're enormous. They have big teeth. Muzzamil, why don't you go ahead?
All right. So, first ever golden nurse shark found in Costa Rica, Caribbean waters. This is something rare, and this will give you goosebumps because first of its kind shark has been reeled off into the coast of Costa Rica. The giant rare shark, measuring 6 feet long. That's not that big for a shark, but still big enough for a fish. had a rare pigmentation which caused it to look orange. Now this shark looks orange because of the pigments inside of its skin. The shark was thought to have a rare pigment condition that is called xanthism. Yeah.
Wow, I think we've seen orange cats, maybe orange foxes, and maybe orange goldfish. However, seeing an orange shark is
seeing something straight out of the Nickelodeon episode, you know,
definitely so
cartoons.
mesmerizing, just out of an animation.
Also,
However,
talking about these animals, these
rare animals,
rare
we
animals.
never knew that crocodiles would be pushed to the
well,
verge of extinction.
Their skin, the products that are made out of their skin, a lot of things, you know. So Venezuelan scientists are trying their best to save these crocodiles, and when we talk about nature and when we talk about cycles of ecology, every part of this chain is important, and when we don't take care of it, it is disturbed and it will lead eventually to us.
All right, and you know, Muzzamil, I think a lot of effort and amount needs to be put into the conservation of such crocodiles to protect them. However, speaking of investing funds, the federal government has approved a rupees 250 million financial support for Pakistani's national hockey team to participate in the upcoming FIH Pro Hockey League.
Oh, need to focus more on hockey, you know.
Definitely, it's our national sport, and to invest such an essential amount of money for the hockey players, I think they're going to thrive, and we're going to be breaking the news of them winning different series and different tournaments, and we cannot wait for that.
All right, so Pakistan continues training ahead of also now talking about cricket, giving you sports updates. First it was hockey and cricket. The Tri-Nation series featuring Pakistan, Afghanistan and United Arab Emirates will begin in Sharjah. Pakistan and Afghanistan will meet in the opening match. Green Shirts are holding practice sessions to prepare for the event. After the series, Asia Cup will also be played in UAE from the 9th of September. And this is when the cricketing fans will get to see a lot of cricket, some good cricket. And talking about sports, one of the sports that all of you all by now know that gives me goosebumps and gives me an adrenaline rush, that is my sport, which is contact sports, be it martial arts, karate, boxing, kickboxing, international boxing. So Pakistan boxing team is showing strong performance, not as strong as my co-host over here. ये भी बड़े मुक्के शुक्के मार लेती है. So at the 3rd Belt and Road International Boxing Gala in China, featuring 26 countries and 34 teams, 4 boxers have already secured medals by reaching the semi-finals, while 2 more have advanced to the quarter-finals.
Wow. Such fascinating news.
Yeah.
And you know, when we speak of sports, right, you think about having stamina, having strength. And how do you produce that, right? It's through maintaining stamina and running, and not just running. What we are going to talk about today is trail running, because it does not just include walking or running on a smooth path. It includes rugged terrain, rocks, maybe streams in between. And today we have a very fascinating young runner. He happens to be WIQAR Ahmed, one of Pakistan's rising trail runners, and we will not give you a debrief about his success journey. I think it's better that he's going to unfold for us how his journey started and the level of competitions he's competed with. Thank you so much, WIQAR Ahmed, for joining us. How are you feeling today?
मैं खुश हूँ कि मेरा जो जर्नी था, रनिंग जर्नी, वो बहुत काफ़ी 2 साल से मैं स्टार्ट किया था रनिंग, तो मैं काफ़ी एक्साइटेड हूँ कि मैं इस स्टेज पर भी मैं पहुंच सकता हूं कि मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा ट्रेनिंग किया, तो
All right, WIQAR, you know, before we dive into like all the tournaments that you have dived into, Muzzamil, I want to ask you, you do contact sports, right?
Yeah.
How do you
Running is a big
maintain
part
such
of it.
stamina for it? Because I think we need to ask WIQAR's routine after you tell us your routine.
I am pretty sure WIQAR bhai का stamina मुझसे बहुत आगे होगा. Trail runner हैं ये, ठीक है? And that requires a lot of cardiovascular maintenance. Now talking about contact sports and talking about stamina, you cannot be a good performer up until you don't have a good cardiovascular output, a good cardiovascular stamina. And one of the things that helped me the most was something that involves all of your body from head to your toe. Talk about swimming, talk about doing stairs, talk about running slow pace. You call it zero intensity running. It's kind of like walking, but with the body posture of jogging.
Muzzamil, I definitely need to follow all these tips because, you know, when we come to the studio, we have to climb a bunch of stairs and come down a bunch of stairs. So in my heels with my bag, I think I run out of breath after just 5 steps, right? So I do swim, but I think I need to practice it more actively. However,
Right.
I think we need to dive back into WIQAR's journey. WIQAR, please continue about what you were telling regarding your journey.
आपका स्टेमिना आपने कैसे बनाया, पहले तो ये बताएं आप.
बेसिकली मेरा ताल्लुक चित्राल से, तो मैं 2200 मीटर एलिवेशन पर रहता हूँ। तो हमारे जो लंग्स होते हैं वो और पाकिस्तानियों से थोड़े बड़े होते हैं,
अल्लाह की
उधर अल्लाह की तरफ से थोड़ा ज़्यादा हुआ है। मतलब ट्रेनिंग मतलब मेरी उधर हुई है बचपन में, बाकी मैं इधर ट्रेल्स पर मतलब डेली हम ट्रेनिंग करते, वीक में कम से कम 4 या 5 दफ़ा हम ट्रेल्स पर जाते, 4 ट्रेल 5, तो वो बन जाता है मतलब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता, तो मतलब वो बना हुआ है हमारा।
अच्छा, ट्रेल 5 पे आपका टाइम कितना है, बेस्ट टाइम?
मेरा जो बेस्ट टाइम ट्रेल 5 का नहीं, 4 का, मेरे जो अप हिल से सारे मतलब हमारे ये होता है, रिकॉर्ड्स होते हैं कि अप हिल में कौन फास्ट है, डाउन हिल में। जो ट्रेल 4 हमारी ज़्यादा ट्रेनिंग ट्रेल 4 पर होते हैं, तो वो जो अप हिल है वो सारे मेरे पास है। मतलब वो कोई 25 मिनट का कोई है, मतलब पूरी ट्रेल 4 अप हिल, तो वो मेरे पास है।
और एवरेज इंसान मेरी तरह का बंदा जिसका थोड़ा सा पेट भी निकला है, अगर वो करना चाहेगा तो उसको कितना लगेगा ट्रेल 4 पे?
ट्रेल 4 पे लग जाते, क्योंकि मैं मागला ट्रेल रनर की तरफ से रनिंग करता हूँ, तो उधर आ जाते हैं, मतलब एवरेज रनर भी आ जाते हैं, बिगनर्स भी आ जाते हैं, तो वो भी कर लेते। तो इंशाल्लाह आप कर लोगे अराउंड 1 hour 30-40 minutes में इंशाल्लाह कर लोगे आप।
So it's 25 minutes for him, 1 hour 25 minutes for
And
me.
I remember I trail up to trail 3. We used to trail up to the restaurant that was up there with my family, and it used to take us more than 2 hours, you know, because I think I'd be the one whining, oh please let's have water, I want to go back, my feet hurt, I'm thirsty.
Sometimes what happens is when you're naturally blessed, like he says that he's from the mountains, he's naturally blessed. My brother is one of those people.
Wow.
So being a lawyer, he had his jacket on his hand and he climbed up the Mushpuri top and he did it quick.
Oh my gosh, how fascinating. But I think we need to dive into WIQAR's journey, right? So WIQAR, how many international and national competitions have you competed in?
इंटरनेशनल तो ये मेरा पहला था, सेशल नेचुरल ट्रेल, जो अभी रिसेंटली हुआ है 23rd को। बाकी नेशनल लेवल पर तो मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा, मतलब मैंने 60 के रिसेंटली 1 month पहले एबटाबाद में मैंने विन किया था। उससे पहले ट्रेल 4 पर ही मतलब IRU की तरफ से हाफ मैराथन, उसके बाद मेरे ख्याल से 14 किलोमीटर का भी मैंने इसी साल विन किया था। बाकी रोड रनिंग भी मैं कर लेता हूँ, मतलब ट्रेल रनिंग में ज़्यादा अच्छी तरह से कर लेता हूँ क्योंकि ट्रेनिंग मेरा हुआ है।
All right, and you know it's so fascinating to hear Muzzamil's brother going all the way up to the mountain.
He's not a sports person.
He definitely is not. And you know we have
He's
WIQAR
naturally
who is
blessed.
definitely reaching such essential new heights. So I think I'm curious about how do you train for it, right? So before going on a trail, do you take in a lot of water? Do you have snacks along with you? How do you maintain the stamina throughout?
नहीं, स्नैक्स तो नहीं होते क्योंकि डाइट को देखना पड़ता है। हाँ, वाटर होता है हमारे पास, और डाइट मतलब केले रखते हैं, डेट्स मतलब खजूर भी हमारे साथ पास होते। हमारा पूरा वेस्ट बोलते हैं, बैकपैक होता है, वो पहन लेते हैं और बस वार्म अप करके फिर स्टार्ट कर लेते हैं।
Oh my God, that's great. So you have this little vest where it has bananas and water and maybe some nuts. So I think it's all natural things that
What's
WIQAR
your
has
favorite,
highlighted.
from dates to bananas to dry fruit and nuts? Which one is your favorite?
ड्राई फ्रूट्स क्योंकि मैं बिलोंग भी चित्राल से करता हूँ क्योंकि उधर ज़्यादा
How
है।
perfect, how perfect. And you know, for our audiences watching, would you like to highlight that more investment needs to be put into trail running, right? So basically, like we just broke the news about how there was a lot of investment in hockey, and we've seen cricket being highlighted in Pakistan a lot. So what about trail running? What would you want to tell the future investors or the future generation how to invest in trail running?
मतलब मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि ट्रेल रनिंग में कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं है, मतलब स्पॉन्सर बिल्कुल नहीं है हमारे पास, हम अपनी ही तरफ से कर लेते हैं। बाकी आप यूरोपियन कंट्रीज़ जाओगे तो उधर इस बहुत पॉपुलर है ट्रेल रनिंग, क्योंकि उनको स्पॉन्सर कर लेते हैं, मतलब बड़े बड़े ब्रांड्स मतलब उधर। पर पाकिस्तान में अभी आ रहा है ट्रेल रनिंग, इंशाल्लाह 2-3 years बाद इंशाल्लाह ग्रो कर लेगा। तो मैं चाहता हूँ ये कि मतलब हुकूमत की तरफ से या मतलब इदारों की तरफ से हमें भी सपोर्ट करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि अभी मतलब पाकिस्तान को मैंने रिप्रेजेंट किया, मतलब इंटरनेशनली मतलब फर्स्ट पोजीशन मैंने विन कर, पर मेरे पास कोई स्पॉन्सर नहीं था। बस मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि डॉक्टर सलमान सर का और वाघा ट्रेल्स का उन्होंने मतलब हमें इस सपोर्ट किया था, स्पॉन्सर किया था कि पाकिस्तान को मतलब रिप्रेजेंट कर ली इंटरनेशनली। बाकी कोई स्पॉन्सर नहीं है हमारे पास।
आपने हाँ,
Alright, so
बहुत अच्छी बात की है।
one of your favorite trail runners, आपका दोस्त, आपका टीममेट, कोई एक आपका favorite trail runner हो?
मतलब कोई फेवरेट इतना नहीं है, मैंने अपने कज़न को देख के स्टार्ट किया, तो मेरा आइडियल वही है, मतलब मेरा कोच, मेरा भाई, मेरा कज़न, वही सब कुछ है। बाकी रनर्स में याकब इनकब्रिक्सन एंड वो शॉर्ट डिस्टेंस रनर है, वो भी थोड़ा बहुत मुझे पसंद है, बाकी कोई इतने नहीं है। मतलब मैं अपने आप को ही देख के मैं ही बेस्ट हूँ।
Mashallah, the talent runs in the family, and it's so great to see the brotherhood bond with his cousin and is teaching him all the skills he's learned. And inshallah, we cannot wait to see you in Pakistan and on international platforms, because people like you are going to rise and shine Pakistan's name all across the world. Thank you so much for taking our time, WIQAR Ahmed, and speaking to us regarding trail running. And we're definitely thrilled to learn all the stamina techniques. Thank you so much for joining
We
us.
have something very interesting and very artsy lined up for you right after a short break. Don't go anywhere, stay tuned, because we'll be back, and if you love calligraphy, paint and art, you're going to love this. Stay tuned. Well, you talk about art, painting and talent in Pakistan. WIQAR was here, the trail runner, internationally jeet ke aaya ladka. And now what we have in our studios is, you can see beautiful painting, I think inspired by Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night, because I can see a lot of swirls, colors, blues and yellows in there. And beautiful calligraphic pieces over here. The artist we have in our studio with us, AZEEM Iqbal Saab, with a hand that has been blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. This work is not only inspiring, it's beautiful to look at. And Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam. I'm fine.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And art has always been a deep way in culture to connect with religion, to celebrate history and to connect with the divine. So as we're celebrating Eid Milad-UN-NABI, how is calligraphy helping us connect with our roots to our religion?
I'm an artist. My name is Muhammad AZEEM Iqbal. It is my mother dream. My mother dreams saw when the revealed of Holy Quran in Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm leather, calligraphy, bones, limestones and 6 different kind of material.
Wow.
When the revealed of Quran, they were calligrapher, the Sahaba use in daily use in writing of the Holy Quran.
तो इन सारे mediums में आप art करना चाहते हैं?
जी हाँ।
और करते भी हैं?
जी हाँ।
Wow,
Mashallah,
and
mashallah.
every artist has a favorite canvas, right? And as you enlightened us in the past, they didn't have paper, so they used to write on stone, maybe on wooden barks and the other things that you mentioned. So what is your favorite canvas to
My
draw
favorite
on?
canvas is the period of Ahd Nabawi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the period 6 different kind of material: leather, limestone, deer skins, handmade papers, and the trees parchment.
This is such a beautiful technique that you are enlightening yourself with. So how did your journey start? What connected you to calligraphy?
Early age, the Kufic manuscript, the Harry script, I love that script because the Harry script saw the period of the Holy Prophet.
Wow.
Their love for
Mashallah.
Holy Prophet.
Definitely.
Alright, so as we see this beautiful piece over here, and we are also seeing that frame next to you, इस frame के अंदर materials different use हुए हैं, बड़ा 3D सा है, थोड़ा describe करें इसका क्या
This is the collage work, the Waqia Miraj, the miracle of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to invite the God to heaven and all the universe. Surah Bani Israel.
Surah Bani Israel. in
The
frame.
Prophet name and the world and the Allah names and the heaven of the world, all the world, galaxies and the stars.
It's so mesmerizing to see, like you have added the world in it and then the elements of the universe and then Allah's name on top. very mesmerizing.
It is
and
a
beautiful,
material,
mashallah.
very powerful material, real stones, real gold leaf, lead and copper.
And your work
Wow.
definitely describes the passion that you work with, the love that you have for the Holy Prophet and for Allah, the materials that you use in, and so precious, and as it should be for our divine. However, what do you think, there are modern techniques of calligraphy and then there's traditional techniques. Do you use a blend and mixture of both in your usual work?
I'm teacher also, Rawalpindi Arts Council. There I am modern calligraphy, canvas and papers. But my passion, my love, my dream is Ahd Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi
Nabi
Wasallam.
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. All right, sir. So, what was your age when you, for the first time, created a piece of art that you were blown away by? कि यार ये मैंने किया है, ये मैं कर सकता हूँ.
In my school, my school ninth age, ninth class. When I'm ninth class, Surah Feel. I think writing the Surah Feel just like the Savarana, visualize elephant, Ababil, and the God powerful mercy to save the Kaaba. That's my idea. I calligraphy on the paper and some pencil papers, and saw my teachers and teacher my.
And what is your own favorite piece created by you?
My favorite piece in the National Monument Museum display.
Wow, it's in the National Monument
National
Museum on
Monument
display.
We have to
Museum,
go see it.
mashallah.
Muzzamil.
Have to
We
go
have
see
to
it.
go
Thank
see
you.
it.
The National Monument Museum, I piece Roshni Ka Safar, the travel of the light, Ghari Hira se lekar Masjid Wazir Khan.
Subhanallah.
The formation of calligraphy, starting the Ghari Hira, then formation Abbas period, Iran and Iraq, other formations, and then Masjid Wazir Khan Baitik Katba.
It must be so detailed, and we've seen how mesmerizing the work that you produce is. My last question is regarding that calligraphy obviously takes a lot of time and patience and energy. So what is the longest time you have added into creating a piece of work?
In my studio, a lot of work done, and every time I have worked very much. In these last years, I started the world's longest Holy Quran. 7-kilometer long Holy Quran. I will start.
That's big and that's huge.
How
All right,
beautiful.
unfortunately, we are a little short on time. I have to go for my headlines because these are up in about 2 minutes. Sir, it was lovely talking to you. Your art is amazing. Your the monument that piece
you
you have in
placed
your museum,
National
we
History
are going to go and see that as well. Remember Pakistan and Pakistani talent in your prayers, and also support talent out of Pakistan. Until then, next time, love you all, and be sure to check out our YouTube channel as well. This is all for now for today's episode. We'll see you tomorrow. Allah Hafiz.